As we know, Alpina have been working with BMW for 40 years now, starting with new classes many years ago. But moving on a few decades, this is Alpina's first version of the E39. This is a 3.2 B10, which has the straight 6, and the benefit of that was it retained the steering rack of the 528i, so steering's a little bit sharper than it was on the larger V8 engined B10s. The changes were Alpina suspension, in the form of Bilstein's, and Alpina's own springs. Alpina roll bars were used, 18-inch Alpina classics. Alpina's objective with all their cars is to build a car, if you like, for the connoisseur, somebody who has to use their car as a tool for work, taking people out in, but to always the person that wants that slightly sportier feel. And with the B10 they certainly cracked that. The 260 horsepower out of the modified Alpina engine, the straight 6, 330 newton meters of torque, which I think is pretty impressive out of this car. The 0 to 60, 6.5 seconds, and a standing kilometre in 26 seconds, which I think is quite something, really. Alpina always put a terrific amount of effort into the design of their suspension systems. Remember that Alpina's cars are always marketed at people who, if you like, have to use their car as a place of work as well. So the Alpina suspension is always very supple, but just gives that far sportier ride than the standard car would have given. Also on this B10 it featured the Alpina brakes as well, and obviously the lovely 18-inch classic Alpina, which always finishes them off beautifully. You really have to know your Alpinas to tell this apart from a standard 528i, but for the people that know, they'd already be looking for the special Alpina chassis number. Alpina's 3.2 on the top of the plenum chain there, and Alpina's airbox. So the only real giveaway is that underneath here is 260 horsepower and 330 newton meters of torque, which I think is terrific out of that size engine. Well, Alpina's special touches didn't just concentrate on the mechanical aspects of the car. The cockpit for the enthusiast driver had to be a nice place to be, and this B10 got spec'd beautifully. So with all the normal bits and bobs that you see on many Alpinas, like the Alpina sill trims, the Alpina steering wheel with multifunction controls, Alpina gear knob, Alpina wood trim inside, just made it a very bespoke and special place to be. And never forgetting, of course, that lovely Alpina plaque above your head that always tells you you're in the real thing. The lovely thing about this B10 is it comes with its original order from Sytner to Alpina, which is just a nice thing to have for the car's history. And you can see here, running into 2 pages, how highly spec'd this car was. Obviously Alpina instruments, multifunction steering wheel, climate control, front and rear airbags, the full BMW radio system and hi-fi system. You'll see on this car, clearly the first owner wanted the car right. There was no expense spared on getting the spec that he wanted to eat up the miles. Well, this lovely B10 was built in November '98, ordered by Sytner, and has only covered 44,000 miles, which is obviously why it's in this beautiful condition that it is. But the lovely thing about this car is I know the last 2 owners very well. The current owner bought the car 2 years ago from us and covered 20,000 miles, and he's somebody who is a personal friend who I've known a long time, so I know exactly how he's looked after the car. And again, the second owner, the guy before that, bought the car personally from me, and again I know exactly how he looked after it. So, and that's why it's in this lovely condition that it is. I think what you get with this particular Alpina B10 3.2 is a terrific amount of car for the money. Such low mileage, such beautiful condition, comes with incredibly low running costs for such a bespoke car, and not forgetting, of course, the low tax banding being pre-2000. The outside of an Alpina to a lot of people may not look any different, but that was Alpina's aim with this car. It really is quite a cute car. So it's only the true motoring enthusiast that will spot the subtle Alpina aerodynamic aids with the Alpina front spoiler, Alpina boot spoiler, and obviously visually from the outside the Alpina classic wheels. But it really is a cute car.